Hey, this is Chuck, and you are listening to Fans with Bands, the podcast where we talk to the fans and the bands they dig about life, music, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Today on Fans with Bands, we are talking to Overdrive Orchestra. Check it out. Hey, this is Chuck with Fans with Bands, and I am talking to Chris, Adam, and Shaun from the band Overdrive Orchestra. And I have fans, Denise and Mike. How are you guys doing?
We're doing all right.
All right. Excellent.
Doing good.
Excellent. So kind of want to start it off with a little bit of kind of the background of the band. So how long has Overdrive Orchestra been around, and where are you guys based, and kind of give into that info?
For sure. So we're from Heartland, Michigan. We can all say that. And at the moment, Adam and I live in Grand Rapids on the west side, and then Shaun and Cam hold it down over on the east side, around the Howell area.
Nice. And I should mention there's two other folks in the band, right? There's James and Cameron, correct?
Yes, is right. Yes. So James, our buddy JC, at the moment, he is on the West Coast, which is probably why he is not able to attend the meeting right now. He's probably working.
Yeah. He's in San Francisco, I believe.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he's working out there right now. And then, Cam is our drummer.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. And just so everyone knows, so Chris, your guitars, vocals, Adam, your bass, and Shaun, your guitar as well, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Cool. So, Denise and Mike, how did you guys become fans of the band?
It's the beginning.
Yeah.
We first heard they weren't the whole band yet, but Adam and Chris got together in high school, and I teach at the high school where they played, and they played in like a Battle of the Bands type of event. So they had a different drummer, and they started there. And then, so we've known them way back since high school when they started playing together.
That was a Van Halen song too, actually. R.I.P.
Yeah,
really.
A Van Halen song for a talent show, I think in 10th grade or something like that. Me and Chris did.
Yep. And then the other guys joined later. I think Adam and Chris went off to college and had a couple different drummers and a couple different things. And
Shaun stuck with them.
Well, Shaun came in. I think, were you guys out of college when Shaun joined?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was after college.
Yeah, so me and Chris moved out to Nashville, Tennessee, and had a drummer out there, Jacob Dodson, who played on the song Parallel, actually.
Awesome.
That was him playing drums on that one. So we recorded that song with him, essentially moved back to Michigan and met up with our old Heartland High School, I guess not Heartland High School, but was it Heartland Middle School alumni? It got him playing guitar in the band. And then, he had a friend named Cameron who happened to be really good at the drums. Yeah. And a friend named JC, you might know him as James Blevins, who was really, really good at keyboard player. So we kind of met up with him, post Nashville stint, so to say. Yeah.
And so you guys just, I think it was right at the beginning of the year, February, is when your the full length Electric Mind album came out. Is that correct?
That is right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And second, 02/02/2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had the pandemic, and it's like, geez, what the heck?
Felt like the next day too. It was just crazy.
It felt like that.
Yeah. So,
but off the first song off of our spring tour, or the first show of our spring tour on my birthday, and then like 2 days later, no more shows. So.
Oh man. Well, I got the album, when I saw that it was coming out, because I actually saw you guys for the first time. I think it was Winter Beer Fest in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when I became a fan. And then I saw you had the album coming out, so I got that, and you recently put it out on vinyl. I love this album. It's so good. So much. There's so many different pieces to it. And if I understand correctly, is it a concept album?
It's the closest that we can get to one.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what is that story? What is the story behind the concept?
Basically, like, yeah, Adam and I go way back. We played in bands before Overdrive Orchestra, and so like we're just like we had all the songs that we were working on, and then Shaun and Cam and JC all went to college together. They had like this other thing going on separate, and when we came together to start jamming, once we moved back from Nashville, like we were doing all right as like a 3-piece. That had been like our shtick for like 6 years.
Absolutely. We've gone through probably in those 6 years, we might have had 8 drummers, or 9 drummers. So it was essentially, just me and Chris working it out as a 3-piece, and it was going pretty good.
Yeah, we got like really good at the power trio, and then came back to Michigan. And all throughout this time, like I had like seen videos of Shaun playing guitar, and I was like, oh, that's right. Like we didn't go to high school together. Like had I known, like damn. and then Shaun and I finally played guitar together at a friend's birthday party, and it was like this. I was like, what just happened? And we just like went from there. So we became a 4-piece, and which was awesome, like super cool. And then we kind of like groomed JC. I don't know if that's the proper term. Like,
I think that's proper
connotation these days, but
yeah,
we courted him. Yeah.
There you go.
We played a bunch of shows in the middle of nowhere, Hell, Michigan. We played through Hell and back a couple times with him, and he it was really great. So
it was a good time.
So I guess to answer your question, the concept is Electric Mind is like we are all, we all have this spark of electricity in us. That is consciousness or whatever, whatever makes the human body tick, and we all kind of work together. And I had an idea, he had an idea, and we all kind of this was like our first culmination of electric rock instruments together as well. So it was just sort of like a way, it was like a giant, and the reason why it seems so cohesive, I think it's so much like a concept album, is because of the way we kind of just all just worked in on top of each other and just filled in all the right places. And then I think epilogue and the prologue part just kind of came out. Chris was messing around, and you could probably tell the story a little bit better, but he was really able to kind of get all the ideas, the culmination of what it means to be, a human into this album, and he was able to kind of transpose all those into one giant song at the end. It just worked out really well. So it wasn't initially, like Chris said, it's as close to a concept album could do, but it was really just like a culmination of different ideas that we all have had.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Epilogue came about because with us being like the Overdrive Orchestra,
right?
They wanted to play off the orchestra part, because we already do that, like how we stack the guitars and everything. But I was like looking at it from a symphonic perspective.
Yeah.
Like, oh, a lot of these songs are in like either the same key or like the relative major or minor. I was like, I might be able to like string the riffs together in like a logical fashion.
Yeah, you can definitely hear it in the epilogue, because that's really cool. And I definitely noticed that when I heard you guys live, how the guitars and everything, you guys have got this really cool layered sound that I think comes through really well on the album. So
thank you.
Yeah, so looks like we have another fan that's joined. Jason, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
All right.
What's up, Jason?
What's up?
So Jason, how did you become a fan of Overdrive Orchestra?
Well, me and Shaun were friends. We've been friends for about almost 8 years now. So that's really how I got started.
But yeah,
right. It's really how I got started listening to it, and then just been listening ever since. My fiance, who's not here, but she is probably the biggest fan out of us. But
cool, awesome, and welcome.
Thank you.
So we were just talking about the full length album, Electric Mind. I love the song Glass Kingdom. That's my favorite song on the whole album. And just curious, what is the story behind that? What was the inspiration?
That song is a special one on the album for sure. Cameron, actually, our drummer, came up with that main guitar part, and it just like we all loved it like right off the bat. And it was like I feel like it doesn't always come, songs don't always come about that way.
Yeah.
But he just like had this idea, and we were all super inspired by it.
Uh-huh.
And then I went through a breakup at the time, and I had actually been working on a bunch of songs separate from the band, and I heard it and I was like, ooh, that's like really good, and I'm really vibing with it. And so that got me to write the lyrics and flesh out the guitar part a little bit more, but still like keeping what he had. And then we had gotten together with Shaun and came up with this really cool drum loop, and on like this old electronic drum set. And
oh, really?
yeah, you can actually hear one of the samples stayed in the final mix.
That's cool.
It's like where the snare would be.
Okay.
So really interesting tone.
Yeah, because you can hear kind of like I don't want to say electronic sound, but there is a sort of a synthy backdrop to that song. So
yeah, almost like if it wasn't a rock song, it could almost be a hip hop song.
Mm-hmm.
Beat. And yeah, that was cool. That was just like really like we have not done something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll do something like that again.
Yeah, it was fun. JC too, really kind of, and Shaun especially, because me and Chris always come from this 3-piece background for so long, and all of a sudden we have these 2 other colors to throw on there, so to speak. Instead of just using the 3 primary, now you got, and so Shaun and JC just really killed it with textures on that song too. He just made it nice and shimmery, and just really sort of sealed the deal, I think, on that one. It was pretty straightforward in a lot of parts, and then between that and then Chris's Ebo part, and that really kind of it's a really spacey song.
Yeah, it's got a lot of emotion to it, definitely, lyrically and just context.
Yeah. I think everything just kept like more ideas just kept coming, and we just ran with all of them because we had like that drum loop, so it was like it was almost like a crutch, but we all worked with it, and
it was a post and we were the vine growing.
There you go. Awesome. Like a hot plant just going crazy on a fence.
Yeah, exactly.
So part of Fans and Bands is, having fans ask questions and talk to the bands as well, not just have me be the talking person. So not to put anybody on the spot as far as fans, but you guys are welcome to throw in some questions, and I'll start with Denise and Mike. Do you guys have any questions?
Each of the band members, can you tell me your favorite song to play?
Ooh.
Of our own or
Anything.
Anything.
That's a good one.
It is a good one. We play a game after every show where we all say our favorite song of the night, and I will tell you, mine has rarely been the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if it comes down to our music, I would say it depends on the night and the performance. I'll have a different opinion there, but just in general, I really like playing music by All Them Witches.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I would agree with that very much. So, repping their shirt. I don't know.
Oh yeah, nice.
I'm gonna fanboy over here. I'm a fan with a band, and it's all that.
Awesome.
My favorite song of ours to play always varies, and nowadays it seems to be Release most of the time. I really like that song. Is so fun, and it's funny because that song took the longest for me to be comfortable with. And every night I would say that was my least favorite song. And it's never to find my way through that song, and less is more on that one. I was just kept overplaying on that, and dialed it back a little bit and really found a nice groove on that one. So Release is always really fun for me to play on our songs. And as far as in general, I love playing our own music. That's why I do it. So I might release No Quarter by Led Zeppelin.
Oh,
I
awesome.
love playing that song. Those two seem to be my favorites of any given night. If I play any of those two on a night, that's usually my favorite of the night.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Chris, did we get yours?
Oh man, I have to say, Release is a great choice. That is a great choice.
Release is the long one.
It is.
The
It
long.
is.
Yeah, the psychedelic harmonica solo at the end.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Craig Griffith of the Verve Pipe and many other projects, just tearing it up on that harp.
Yeah.
I might have to say Harvest might be my pick because I don't have to work as hard on that song. That's kind of a selfish choice, but I get to take a little bit more of a backseat on that song for the majority of it, and it's kind of a 2-in-1 because we've been playing those two songs back to back. So I don't have to pick Release, but I also really enjoy playing that song. We usually do them back to back because it sounds so good on the album, so we just do it live. But we do it more cohesively. It's less two songs and kind of just one really fun time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, we were very intentional with the placement of the songs on the album. So live, a lot of times we do have these two songs that just work so well together, and Release and Harvest are definitely those.
Nice. Jason, you got any questions for these guys?
I mean, I didn't come prepared with one, but I'll piggyback off that. Not your favorite song to play or anything like that, but your favorite just album in general, yours or otherwise.
Ooh. Oh my goodness.
That's
another good one, because it's always fun to hear what people's influences are and what they got into, and I know it changes all the time, favorite albums, but
yeah, so I guess right now what it is.
Yeah.
Mine has actually been the same probably since I've been 14. So half of my life, my favorite album has been 10,000 Days by Tool.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I love that album, I think, from start to finish. It does what they do the best in the shortest amount of time as they possibly could. Still the whole length of the album. But I like, and especially Justin Chancellor as a bass player. He's always pushing the envelope on what can be done. And on that specifically, he really blew my mind on what the bass can and cannot do in a song. And he proved that there's nothing that it cannot do.
Nice.
I would have to say Songs for the Deaf by Queens of the Stone Age. That's probably like start to finish. Like I can always listen to that album, always have a good time, and it never seems to get old for me. I love that. So
yeah, that is a great album. I love that one too.
Solid. I might have to say it's a toss-up for me between Houses of the Holy and
I was gonna say that. That was up there for me. No joke.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know which one I would choose. I guess it more depends on who I'm talking to, because I feel like Physical Graffiti is like a cop-out because it's a double album. There's so much material there. Not be your favorite. It's a numbers game.
It is a numbers game.
But also, if we're talking like single LP, side A and B, like House of the Holy gets my vote.
Awesome. So Denise and Mike, what are your favorite albums?
Well, Electric Mind is one of my favorite albums.
Awesome.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like the live one better.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Hot take. Hot take.
It's a hot
Nice.
Hey, listen to it live.
Yeah.
And Jason, how about you?
Oh, geez. I don't know. I don't know if you can put me on the spot like that.
With your own question.
With my own
Damn
question.
you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if I go back to nostalgia, it's probably Tommy.
Oh,
By the Who.
awesome.
Just growing up, my dad always listened to that.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan.
Good pick.
Yeah.
It's a good pick.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. That's a great question. Do you guys, so Denise, Mike, any other questions? for
Yeah.
you?
So, of all the venues you've played, which one is either the most memorable or the one you like the most?
Ooh, of all the venues.
You know, I used to work at Founders Brewing Company and work the shows there. So playing essentially not my own stage, but the stage that I worked with and put on shows on every night, being able to play that with all my coworkers and all my friends and whatnot. It's just a very interactive stage. So I always enjoyed when we would play there, which is a big reason why we chose to record the live album there. Not only does it have good sound quality, but just the vibe there, the crowd. The artist to crowd experience is totally there. Nothing really separates, the band from the fun. So,
Yeah, nice.
I think for me, it's a toss up between Founders or the Blind Pig. Just the atmosphere at both of those places is always pretty electric. And I think some of our best performances have been at Founders and at the Blind Pig. And there's so much history at the Blind Pig too. I mean, it's really hard to beat just the feel when you walk in that place. So
Right.
Yeah, that would be my picks.
That was certainly the loudest of your concerts.
Was.
Yes.
Far and away the loudest.
Everybody knows louder is more better. So it worked out.
I would have to agree with Adam with Founders. I would say that's my most memorable, but I can't say that because the last time we played there, I was really sick. And I actually don't really remember the show at all.
Yeah, you have little to no memory.
I was like the sickest I've ever been in like the pre-COVID world.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, don't call it COVID.
Yeah. Well, it was really close.
Yeah. And but yeah, the live show or the live record that we have is great. I remember all of that. That was a fun time. And other venues.
Honorable mention to the Pyramid Scheme in Grand Rapids as well.
Yeah.
I love that place too.
That was a super fun show.
Really fun. Love that place.
Yeah, we played the Orbit Room before it shut down.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
With Saving Abel.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I saw Clutch there.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Yeah. So I was thinking of, when Chris, you were talking about remembering, well, all of you, when you're talking about remembering shows, and I've listened to some other interviews where some artists, and I know this personally myself, sometimes when you're playing music, it's this, you're very mindful of the music and not so much thinking about your performance, but just you're in the music and that's what consumes your mind. So when you're at a show, do you feel present with the people there, or do you feel the music kind of become the music, and you just, like, when you get off the stage, you're like, what just happened? We just, played for an hour, but I don't really remember it.
I would say there's definitely times where you are like riding the high of the concert and you get off stage and you're like, whoa, like you obviously just did that and it was awesome, but it's also kind of a blur.
Yeah.
And that's like best case scenario. Then you have like what I did at Founders last time. We played the show. By all accounts, it was great. I had a terrible time. I felt so bad because like everybody was there. Mm-hmm. It was like,
oh man,
it was our single release party, and it was just like, we did it.
Yeah,
but
well, that's good that you persevered.
And persevere. I had to. I'm not. Are you kidding me? No. But man, it's the closest I've ever gotten. I was like, dude, I don't know if I can do it. And I was like, I got to do it. Look at all those people out there. You just got to do it, man.
Right.
Had a pitcher of water on the stage. I was good.
So I was curious about the creative process. Since you guys are kind of spread apart, how do you, the back in the day, bands would get together in the jam rooms, kind of flesh out ideas. Are you more the new school thing where somebody comes up with the riff and kind of trade the sound file through the internet and develop that way, or is it a combination of those two methods?
I would say it's a combination.
It's a combination. I'm more so the old school guy myself, where it's like, yeah, I can write down something until like all day long and it sounds cool on this computer, and then I just like all of a sudden I'm playing it in that room and I was like, you know what, this doesn't have the energy that I was looking for. So I'm probably more so where I would say everyone else is I'm way more balanced than I am. I'm definitely the old school. It's almost a problem. Not quite yet. I just got a recording interface and stuff, so I can get back into fleshing out some demos and stuff. But yeah.
It's definitely a quicker process to get ideas across with sound files. We've been doing that. We've embracing that more. But I think we all prefer to jam. We try to get together at least once a month.
Yeah, bi-monthly usually is what ends up happening.
Yeah.
And it gives us time to kind of get these ideas brewing in our heads, and then we'll meet up and hash them out, and some of them work and some of them don't. You remember it, you go back and do it again in 2 weeks once you had more time to let things simmer,
Yeah. So since the pandemic has kind of shut down shows and all that stuff, have you I haven't seen that you have, and maybe I missed it, but are you doing any kind of live streaming shows, or have you thought about doing that kind of show to the camera thing?
So we did do a live stream show back in September.
Yeah, September.
Labor Day weekend. Like right before it, it was our first endeavor.
And how was the experience for you guys?
It was fun. But it was
band
also
practice.
It was also weird because we had some people in the room with us, and they were all having a good time. But it was like us playing to like 4 more people.
Yeah, it was very much like a band practice. So it was fun, and for sure on our end, and we got to do some fun stuff. We brought in my buddy Blake Merkel, who runs Mandrick Music out in Grand Rapids, Michigan. If you guys are looking for a guitar, shameless promotion, check them out. If you're looking for an amp, shameless promotion, check out Mandrick Music. But we hired him to do some cool lights, which sometimes are kind of weird to do live situation because you got to be careful where the crowd is and where these go. So we did get to do some of the old school Woodstock style, the with the opaque projector and the oil and water.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that was fun. So we did get to, dip our feet a little bit in special effects because it was a live stream. But all in all, it is what it is. It's. I feel like it's a Band-Aid.
Yeah. I've watched a few different shows, either local and I don't know how the hell I missed yours, but it's a little bit strange because you sometimes wonder I can't imagine that there's the energy's there for you without having a crowd. So it would be hard.
Adam put it best. I think when he said it's like band practice, it just really kind of feels. I mean, it's fun because we always have fun when we're out together, but there's an energy when there's people that are reacting to your music right in front of you, and you can react to what they're giving back to you. And it's just kind of gone when you're doing live performances. But if you missed it, it is on YouTube, so you can look that
cool.
up.
Awesome. I'll go check it out then. That'll be fun. So I kind of want to go back into like a little bit of the your origins as far as who are your, like, if you had to pick one person as your musical idol that influenced you, who would that be? And I'll pick on Shaun first.
Oh man. Right off the bat. I mean, that's changed certainly throughout the ages.
Yeah.
I picked up a guitar first because of Dimebag Darrell.
Oh, cool.
In Pantera. But when he was killed on stage and the Guitar World put out a memorial issue about him, that was when I first was learning. And I remember buying that magazine and flipping through the pages and like, oh, who's this guy with the red beard, starting to listen to Pantera, and then like checking out tabs and learning how to play Pantera. That was my formative years on guitar were actually pretty heavily rooted in that kind of heavy metal sound. But nowadays, I'm going to keep it straight with my favorite album. I'm just going to go with Joshua Homme and his guitar playing, his riffs and his early days in Caius are like, I'm just so enjoying them right now.
Yeah.
And his, songwriting ability. I mean, I'm sure everybody else in the band right now is jealous that I took him away from their answer.
16 years old, just coming out with these monster riffs. I was like, all right.
So good.
So Adam.
Yeah. Musically, it's hard to say. Reason why I play bass is more so because I just like feel the pulse, and that's kind of where I've always gravitated towards. So on that front, the person who I guess inspires me the most on that would be, as I kind of noted earlier, Justin Chancellor from Tool. I would have to say he is my most, as far as creativity goes, I would say absolutely. As far as songwriting goes, that's like a completely different can of worms. Mm-hmm. And I might have to go with something like Frank Zappa or something like that right now, just because he's so out there and he's not afraid to take risks, and it's always cool every time somehow. And I just really appreciate that. And there's obviously outstanding musicianship, but it's just like the songwriting and the process and how he wrote it is just mind-boggling to me right now. So as those, I have to give you two answers because they're two different things.
There you go. Why not?
Yeah. I call my own shots.
Oh man. I might have to give you a double answer too. Jimmy Page, always, like, from a guitar perspective, I've always liked what he's done. But I would say who's like inspired me the most, like in recent times, I would say Frank Ocean. And I know he's primarily a singer, but I know he knows music. How could he not? Blonde is a phenomenal album. Nostalgia Ultra is a cool mixtape. Obviously, everybody knows Channel Orange, but wow. Candy, I want the vinyl. It's so expensive because everybody knows how good it is. And I don't like that I'm priced out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So another question I was thinking of when you guys were talking about music and the the writing process, that do you, when you're creating music, do you envision landscapes? I mean, is it a process of thinking of a theme when you're building a song that you want to convey, an emotive theme, or do you get some kind of visualization in your mind of where you want the song to go, and then you start building upon that?
Great question.
I think it depends a little bit.
Yeah,
sure.
It's never the same.
Emotive, like, themes seem to be what we build out, like, musically, and the lyrics seem to be added. If we're just to, like, if I was to give you like a generalization and say if we had to pick one way to do it every time, that's probably how we do it, but it does change. I think Last Kingdom, you mentioned that song earlier. That song, as soon as I heard that, I was like, that feels like I'm like sitting on a beach and there's like an ocean rushing up against me. And that sort of, I think, everyone else felt that way too. That kind of, you can hear that in the soundscape of that song a little bit.
I think it always starts with the music. There's very few times, unless it's like an acoustic song in nature, and I'm not including Last Kingdom in that, even though it's acoustic. It's hard to come up with the music and the lyrics at the same time.
Yeah,
that happens every now and again. It's always the instruments first. And yeah, probably
Chris writes all the lyrics as well, so he doesn't really get any help on that end. Sorry, Chris.
No, it's okay.
So a lot of times when it comes to songwriting too, it's not like he'll show us lyrics, but it's never be like, hey, let's write a song about my lyrics today. He doesn't have that kind of ego. So it usually lyrics seem to be the last thing added.
Yeah,
for sure.
Cool. So do you remember the very first concert that you went to, and what was that?
My first concert was Aerosmith with Joan Jett opening. And it was cool. I was like, I was super young, and it was awesome. I was like, live music's cool. Yep.
Cool.
Mine was Peter Frampton at
Really?
Pine Knob. Yep, with my dad. My dad took me to see Peter Frampton. It was right after he put out, I think it was, what is it, the Fingerprints album where he does the Black Hole Sun cover.
Hole Sun cover. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. He was touring, I think mostly those tunes, but man, he could just rip. And when I saw, that guy could play. It was to this day probably one of my favorite concerts I've ever been to, just because of those early memories with my dad, but also because that guy can really play.
Yeah. Adam, how about you?
Oh man, my first concert was DC Talk in 1998 on the Supernatural tour.
Awesome.
I think I was 7 years old. I might have been. I had to have been 7 at the time, and I called in the radio station, and I won the tickets. So me and my dad went, and I remember being so afraid of all these stories my dad was telling me on the way there about how he saw Kiss and how his ears were like bleeding afterwards. I was like, got so freaked out. I just went in there and I was just like already overwhelmed. I'm not gonna say I cried the whole time, but I don't think I had as good of a time as people should at their first concert experience, especially when they choose to do that for a living, and the rest of their life. That's what they want to do. I don't think I had the best first experience. I don't think it was even loud, to be completely honest. I think I was just afraid. Just a big baby.
That's awesome. So Jason, what was your first show you went to?
Oh, geez. This is actually, it doesn't align with the music we're talking about, but I never really went to concerts when I was younger.
Okay.
So my first show was actually a country concert.
Cool.
Kenny Chesney, I think Old Dominion opened. It wasn't too long ago. It was only like a couple of years ago. But yeah, I never went to really live music a lot.
Yeah, that's cool though. It's awesome. Denise and Mike, how about you guys?
All right, I guess I'm supposed to go first. My first concert was the Doobie Brothers at Pine Knob. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
awesome. Awesome.
Knob. Yes.
Yeah, Pine Knob, not
That's
DTV
right. It was
Music
Pine
Theater.
Knob on the hill. Yeah.
That's right. Mike, how about you?
Sticks at air-conditioned Como Arena.
Nice.
I forgot
Very
the
nice.
album now. It was the first album. Their main, I think it was Sticks. Yeah.
Oh, wow, cool. Awesome.
I think it was
Very nice.
77.
Cool.
How come we didn't play Coba Hall for our first record?
That would be, yeah. If they still had shows there. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Denise, Mike, do you guys got any other questions for the band?
When's the new album come out?
I was afraid this question was going to come up.
It just did.
Yeah. It just.
How's the new album coming? How's that?
All right. How about, do you guys have any plans for, I know COVID puts a big damper on things, but any type of outside show event that you could do and keep social distancing safe somehow?
Well, to answer that question, I'd like to ask you another question. Is when do you think the American public will be able to handle basic safety rules? So I kind of got to play by ear a little bit on that one for sure, because it's hard to do it. Even if you do it correctly, it's easy for it to just backfire on you. So there are no plans right now, unfortunately. There are no plans. Live streaming seems to be the most, I guess, the next most possible performance. But yeah, unfortunately, nothing on the live music front right now.
Yeah.
So I guess we can start working on that new album.
Yeah, we kind of have. We don't want to
We've been
give away
jamming.
too much, but
We've been jamming.
There's some songs there.
I mean, it's the circle, you know. You finish the record, and then you're like, all right, I got all these new ideas. Now that the other ideas are finally done, just wait till you hear the next batch.
And everybody's hearing songs that came out in February, but we've been recording those songs for 3 years and playing them in bars and at venues. So we've had them for 3 years already. So, you know, it's kind of like everybody's like one album behind when you're in a band, you know?
Yeah, that's true because, you know, there's a lot of development process, you know, you're writing and then honing them and getting them ready. So by the time they're on an album and we're the fan is enjoying it, you guys are like, "Phew, man, that's like ancient history to us." So, well, it's cool that
luckily the muscle memory's there at that point. It's hard to mess it up.
Yeah, we definitely don't really have to practice the old material, which is nice. We just like play it because we want to.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're jamming.
We each brought a couple songs to the table a couple band practices ago, and we got a bunch of digital files going, and we've been recording all our practices and stuff too. So to answer your question, Mike, we do have some music planned ahead, and we'll be releasing it before you know it.
Yeah.
To give you a year even would be foolish.
Yeah. No deadlines.
No deadline.
Yeah.
Until we can play in front of people again.
Yeah, we really have no reason to get this out and about because, you know, people listen to music on Spotify and whatnot, but you know, we really want to be playing shows to help plug this album, the next album. So
yeah,
right.
And you know, it had been a long time since we had like a full length album before Electric Mind, so we can kind of ride the wave, so to speak. It's a smaller wave than it was, but we're riding it, and we're just giving it time for the new stuff to just like come together organically. It's a totally different process now that we've all been in the band. Like it's
right.
We brought the last batch of songs together.
Absolutely.
We're like working on them pretty much from the ground up. Like there are, just like how I write the lyrics by myself, I've been putting together like as good of demos as I can of ideas, and then I send it to the guys, and we can like swap out like a drum loop with actual drums and get ideas that way. But then we like really hash them out at a practice, and then that like becomes a new thing. So like at this point, the demos are like there is like a reference, but we've started jamming them, which it feels really good. Just totally new direction. You know, if you want more of Electric Mind, like you'll get like the feel. I'm not gonna tell you you're gonna get like the same songs again. It's cool. It's really cool, and then it's a fun process to work with the guys from start to finish.
It is. It even goes as far as like last time we had songs almost done in our minds, like all the ideas were there and we just needed our friends to kind of like play on top of them and do their thing. And obviously some things changed along the ways, but with this new stuff, it's very much like that's extreme example. I have this one song I've been working on, and I'll like all day long we'll play it this one way, and then next week I was like, okay, now we're gonna try it the complete opposite way. You know what I'm saying? And just so it's like just beat it to death until like something feels right, or till something gives and gives the way that you want it to. And because we have so much time right now, we've absolutely been able to like just build songs from the ground up that are awesome, you know. So hopefully it will be another level of songwriting processes or songwriting experiences for you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Jason, do you have any questions for these guys?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about one for all, and I'm sorry if you guys talked about this before I got in, but I've known Shaun for all these years, but I've never asked him, how did you guys come up with the name Overdrive Orchestra?
Well, that's before my time, so.
I figured, but.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing.
That would go back. It's really when we started playing with with Max,
Mm-hmm.
who's on our first recordings when we were still in college. We we were the power trio thing, but we really liked we just really appreciate the layering of the instruments. So that was, I think, where the orchestra part came from.
Mm-hmm.
But we also wanted to convey that like we're gonna play loud rock music. Like don't.
Yeah, we debated the name Overdrive. Actually, at first was the first. I think the very first name that either me or Chris liked. Chris suggested, like, how about the name Overdrive? It seemed really cool. I was like, I felt like I needed something else. I was like, Overdrive. It's like it's just so vague, like it just sounded almost like radio rock. So I was like, it needs something else because there's going to be some intricacies to our music. And we were playing with a keyboard player intermittently at the time too. Keys has always been something we wanted to do, just weren't able to find the right person to make it happen until we met JC. But we kind of just took the idea of rock and roll and in harmony. I think even from the beginning, Chris had this harmonist pedal made by Boss, which is pretty cool. And because we just had the one guitar thing, we would just try and make it sound like a wall of guitars, so just that whole orchestra thing going.
Yeah. And then you can imagine to my relief when Shaun joined the band. Didn't have that pedal nearly as much. No, it's cool. It's like the
alliteration rolled off the tongue.
The alliteration was nice.
It was a pain for the Twitter handle.
It was a pain for the Twitter handle. We recently finally just said F it and just like abbreviated, but
yeah, it's funny how you have to think of those things now. Like I've got to worry about the name as far as the social media or domain name or whatever. So
weird.
Yeah, the name came out like right when Twitter was starting to pop off too. So Twitter was not something we thought about at all. I don't think it would still be something we think about to this day. Right. I don't think about Twitter, but once a week. I've thought about it 3 times already today. Wow. That's enough. Year.
But yeah, that's how it came about. And then it kind of just, it makes more sense now than ever. Mm-hmm. Who would have thought when we named ourselves?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So I was curious, and I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So if you guys were able to travel, so right now travel is like kind of a bummer right now. So really can't go anywhere. But if you could travel anywhere right now, where would you go?
I can actually answer this question because when COVID first all happened, like literally we were going like 100 miles an hour, it felt like, and just stopped. Like not only did live music stop, but like I got let go from my day job. And so like it just like all happened because of the virus. And you could argue that's my fault for choosing professions that happened, but also everybody I talked to was like, I had no idea. Like if you're a bartender, you're a musician, like it was wild. We thought about going to New Zealand, my partner and I.
Cool.
She had almost gone a couple of years ago, and we were like at the very beginning of the tour, just like casually talking. She's like, I never did go, and like the time to get a work visa was like running out.
Yeah.
And I was like, you could still do it. Like you got like a year and a half, like whenever we were talking about it. And then, everything came to a close. We're like, let's just get out of here. Like this is terrible.
Right.
And clearly all the borders closed. So
yeah.
But I would go to New Zealand. That would be really, really cool. And just like change it up. I was also set to go. We were going to go on a trip to the Pacific Northwest.
Oh, yeah.
And that would have been at like the end of April. So it was like we were just about there.
Yeah.
And the world came to stop. So
I guess that's still technically doable. I mean, you can actually get there, but New Zealand would be tough.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about flying yet.
Yeah, true.
I will say I'm driving. I'm going on a trip in just a couple days, which I'm very excited about. I'm gonna head down to North Carolina because it's
Nice.
like far.
Yeah.
Swing through Tennessee on the way. I haven't
Nice.
been there in a couple of years.
Cool. Where are you going in North Carolina?
We're gonna go to Asheville.
I just went there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It
really cool.
it
And
seems
if you like beer, they have some great breweries down there.
excellent. We like beer.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing that and swinging through Nashville. Big surprise.
Oh, cool.
Just worked out with the rhyming, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that'll be fun doing that for a couple days, and then.
Nice.
But yeah, I would say anywhere in New Zealand. But it is nice that I feel like I'll let you guys take the question from here. But I feel like we've all been able to get out, at least in our beautiful state of Michigan.
Yeah.
I do appreciate this state more than ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been nice.
Yeah.
I've been going on walks every single day for sure. Been finding a lot of nice fungus lately. Going up and eating it. I found some lion's mane yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, really nice. I found some chicken of the woods earlier this year, so that's been fun, foraging and all that. But as traveling goes, because I get a good amount of like woods and lakes here in Michigan. I don't get as mountains. So I would have to say, if I was going anywhere in the whole world, I'd probably have to say Italy or Switzerland right now.
Cool.
On the mountains. Italy more for the weather, and Switzerland a little bit more for the sights. But yeah, either of those places, go hang out in the mountains for a while. I'd be beside myself.
Yeah, northern Italy is super cool.
Yeah.
In the Alps there. So
exactly. Yep. Exactly. Yep. Somewhere in the Alps.
Yeah. Cool. How about you, Shaun?
Probably. I spent a summer in France in high school, and I've always been kind of dying to go back. But it was sort of either between the south of France or maybe the UK. I've never been to the UK. There's a lot of cool stuff up there, a lot of history that I would love to see in my lifetime. So that's probably between those two spots.
Cool. Yeah, Scotland's awesome. It's
absolutely
technically the UK. So yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Jason, where would you go if you could travel right now?
Well, I was gonna say New Zealand, but Chris kind of stole that one.
Those Lord of the Rings movies, man.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hobbiton.
No, but if I could do another one, I think I would want to go to Iceland.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
One of my old coworkers went there a couple of years ago, and it was just like gorgeous out there. He basically just took a van, drove all around the country, and that'd be just great.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd like to do that. Denise and Mike, where do you guys want to go?
Well, we just went to Keweenaw Peninsula.
Oh, when'd you go?
All the way past Carper Harbor.
Last week.
Oh, I was up there the first weekend of October.
Nice.
To get Uber lights?
We did. We found one, like without the flashlight. Totally, just like
really.
Yeah. So a friend of ours loaned us his name's Jay Clancy. He's he owns Cognition Brewing in Ishpeming. Anyway, we met up with him and he gave us his light. But before that, like we had that light, but then we were out on a beach. Trying to remember where that was. Oh, it was Presqu'île over by Ontonagon, and Porky's. Anyway, we just walking this beach. We saw he had a rock that we could. Oh, maybe these are the rocks, and we were just picked up like each of us grabbed, I don't know, fistfuls of these rocks. We came back and we were just kind of doing a drinking game where you'd kind of flash the light on it, see if we got one, and we did get one, so it was fun. So anyway, where would you like to go? Because you just did that trip, but where would you like to go now?
Well, we had a trip planned to Scotland in the spring.
Oh,
but that got canceled.
Yeah. So
now where?
Yeah. So if you could go now, you would go there then, out to Scotland. Where were you planning to go in Scotland?
Starting in Edinburgh, we have a nephew that is working for Edinburgh University right now.
Cool.
So he was going to kind of take us around and show us the town.
Mm-hmm.
We were taking my mom with us. She's 83, and we were going to take her because she wanted to go see him as well.
Yeah.
And then we were going to just kind of go take a tour and go up into the Highlands and Isle of Skye and just try to see as much of Scotland as we could. And we were going to go for 2 weeks.
Awesome.
So we were just trying to, do the big chunk of Scotland and, just do as much as we could with, just see all the sights.
Remember, it's a country, but it's about the size of Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're interested, I've been there twice. So if you need the info, just let me know. Because I went there to buy my kilt. So
Nice.
The
tartan. That's true. So
my other place for travel for Scotland, if it wasn't for the nephew there, I probably wouldn't have chosen that, although it sounded like fun, is Alaska's on my bucket list.
Oh, yeah.
I really would like to go there someday. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Yep.
As soon as the plague is lifted, we'll be back, running around, going to shows and jamming and having good times. So
right.
Yeah. So guys, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk with me. It's been fantastic. I've got one controversial question to kind of wrap things up, and that is, pineapple or no pineapple on the pizza?
Ooh.
So you're going with pineapple?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why it's so weird. I like pineapple on a pizza. If you don't, that's fine.
I love pineapple on pizza as well. I think it makes a lot of sense. Tomato and pineapple thing, it's like been in salsa for generations. No one talks anything about it. People can't seem to comprehend tomato and pineapple together because there's cheese, and everyone knows cheese just makes things better.
Shaun, what do you think?
Apparently this is a really controversial question. I don't think it's my first pizza that I would order, but if I'm getting 2 pizzas, the second one's probably got pineapple on it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely not an option I go to, but like if it's there, I'll eat it. If that's an option, I'll have. I'm not a big, you can't do this, so
right.
Yeah.
And Denise and Mike, what do you guys think?
If it's pizza and I'll eat it. I don't care what's on it, except for maybe anchovies and green olives. Other than that, I'll eat it on pizza. Yep.
Awesome.
Take it off.
There's
the one.
Yeah.
I take it off.
Well, I was going to say, Mike, I'm with you because pineapple, it just sounds like a sacrilege, but pizza's awesome. So I would probably pick it off, but anyway. So guys, thanks again. Really appreciate you taking the time, and love the album. And I got it on my Spotify list. I listen to it, at least once a week, and hopefully more and more people will be listening to it. So anyway, dig it. Thank you guys again.
Thank you,
Thanks
Chuck.
so much.
Thanks for doing this.
All right.
Yeah, thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks again to Chris, Adam, and Shaun from Overdrive Orchestra, and fans Denise, Mike, and Jason for joining me on this episode of Fans with Bands. Go check out Electric Mind by Overdrive Orchestra. It is a wonderful and emotive rock album that I'm sure you will love. See the show notes for all the details and links. These are tough times for everyone in the creative industries such as music. Your support of live streaming events, purchasing music and merchandise is critical. If you can help your local artists, please do. If you are in Michigan, consider following the Playing in the Detroit Area Tonight Facebook page. It is a place for fans and bands to support each other and share our combined love of music. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get each and every episode of Fans with Bands. Spread the word by rating the show and leaving a comment. We want to hear what you think. You can keep in touch by following us on social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, be well and kick out the jams.